Welcome to match 3 of night 6 of the Emerald League Intercontinental Classic. Johnny Gargano. You take it away.
Johnny Gargano, Johnny Monday Night, Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Takeover, Johnny Champion, Johnny Chamber, Johnny Rumble, Johnny Mania, Johnny DIY, Johnny Everything. Johnny Gargano is back here in the Intercontinental Classic. And he's facing the Intercontinental Champion. This is a big match for Johnny Gargano. He currently sits at 6 points as he faces the guy who is currently undefeated in this tournament.
It's unfortunate that I have to point this out, but because of Braun Breaker's win, Johnny Gargano is officially eliminated from semifinal consideration, but that doesn't mean that Johnny Gargano could still finish with double-digit points. Of course, there are tough tasks ahead. Dominik Mysterio tonight, Keith Lee tomorrow night.
Actually, Johnny Gargano is not eliminated.
How?
It all just depends on who can get 12 points next.
Why do you say that?
Here comes the greatest competitor in Mysterio.
I think he is eliminated.
Are you kidding me, Corey?
I wouldn't say necessarily he is.
Because both Dominik Mysterio and Braun Breaker are at 15 points each.
Because, right here, Johnny Gargano has not faced Keith Lee yet. Keith Lee sits at 9 points. So there is a possibility where if Keith Lee wins his match tonight against Carmelo Hayes, but Johnny beats Keith Lee on this next, tomorrow, and Johnny beats Dom here, he could still technically be in consideration for semifinalist spot if it's a 4-way tie.
So, hear me out, though. Johnny Gargano, if he were to win out, he's at 12. The two semifinalists at the moment, if it ended today...
Johnny Gargano wins tonight, he's at 9. If he wins against Keith Lee, he'll be at 12. If Keith Lee wins against Carmelo Hayes tonight, he'll be at 12. And if he loses to Johnny Gargano, he'll be at 12, which means they're tied at 12 points. If Braun Breaker loses to Dominik Mysterio...
Both Braun Breaker and Dominik Mysterio are at 15, though.
Well, yeah. But that means technically he doesn't have to worry about Braun Breaker.
Oh, Dominik?
Johnny.
Well, yeah, because
he's no longer in the semifinalist spot. If Johnny beats Dom here, they're tied as the finalist spot.
Yeah, both
Which
Dominik...
means the semifinalist spot is completely open. So there is a world, and it is still possible that Johnny gets in there.
Oh, you're saying that if both Braun Breaker and Dominik Mysterio end up in a tie? Like for example, if Braun Breaker and Dominik Mysterio, if their match tomorrow night were to end in a draw, and both of them are tied at 15, you're saying that both of them would be tied for first, which would mean either Gargano or Keith Lee, or maybe even...
in a draw, they would be at 16.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Which would, even then, they'd be tied at 16, which means they would be tied for first, which means the second place spot would go to either Gargano, or Keith Lee, or Mello, or a Dragon Lee. Okay, that makes
actually, realistically,
that makes actually perfect sense.
Exactly.
So, technically, if Johnny Gargano beats Dominik Mysterio, there is a chance. Unless you...
Well, actually, we're going to be in a weird situation here.
What?
If Johnny Gargano beats Keith Lee...
Well, if he... Well, first he has to beat... He has to first beat Dominik Mysterio.
If Johnny beats Don, he'll be at 9. If Keith Lee beats Mello tonight, he'll be at 12. And if Johnny beats Keith Lee on night 7, they're both at 12. If Dragon Lee wins his match tomorrow against Carmelo Hayes, he'll be at 12. And we're going to be in a 3-way tie.
Keith Lee beat Dragon Lee.
Keith Lee beat Dragon Lee.
Johnny Gargano.
Dragon Lee beat Johnny Gargano. And if Johnny Gargano beats Keith Lee...
We got a 3-way tie.
We're going to have to be in a triple threat.
However, that depends if Johnny beats Dominik Mysterio. Because if Johnny doesn't beat Dominik Mysterio...
Oh,
wait a minute, Gargano escaped? Gargano escaped?
We've been missing this match because of the calculations here. But Johnny's
We're
got
gonna be
the
going
Gargano
through-
escape. Oh, but he lets it go.
But
He lets it go.
But as we were saying, that all depends if Gargano wins this match, though. If Gargano loses this match, all that's thrown out the window.
Yes.
All that's thrown out the window, which means it's Dominik and Braun Breaker.
Which means this is a vital, and I mean
Vital match. Because if Dominik Mysterio wins this match, Keith Lee is Keith Lee out?
Into the cover.
Hold on.
Feet are on the ropes. Come on.
Yes, Keith Lee. Wait, no. Yes, Keith Lee would be out because, or wait, actually no, he wouldn't be out because, Keith Lee, if he were to win out, he would be at 15, which would mean he would need Braun Breaker to lose to Dominik Mysterio and him to beat Johnny Gargano to be the semifinalist.
Yeah.
So Keith Lee isn't out. However, what you were talking about earlier, if Dominik Mysterio beats Johnny Gargano, the whole theory you got there, that's thrown out the window.
So this is a very vital match. Because not only is Johnny facing the Intercontinental Champion himself, Frankenstein, but
Poison
also if that's a Frankenstein.
Well,
Johnny needs to win this because again, he's facing IC Champion Dom Mysterio. But also, if he can beat Keith Lee after beating Dom, if Dragon Lee beats Carmelo Hayes, we're going to be in a 3-way tie, and we're going to go to a triple threat to decide who's the semifinalist.
That would be nuts. But Gargano's got to win this match first. Gargano's got to win this match. Meanwhile, the ref is distracted.
Ref turn around. That could have been a 3 count right there for Johnny.
Well, we don't know.
No, that was 3. I counted in my head. That was actually a 5 count. If the ref had been there, Johnny would have won.
Well, remember, Dominik Mysterio has not hit a 619 or a frog splash in this match.
Actually, he just went for the Michinoku driver, as now.
Oh, this is so tight. This is so tight right now.
Because again, this is very important. Johnny needs to win, and I mean
Gargano loses this match. He is officially eliminated. Frog splash!
That's gotta be it. That's the hopes and dreams of Johnny wrestling.
No! Wait a minute!
Come on, Johnny!
Wait a minute!
Come on,
Wait
Johnny!
a minute!
Johnny!
This match is not over yet.
Come on, Johnny!
It is not over yet.
Be the first man to defeat the Intercontinental Champion in this tournament. Now I want to point out something. Kazuchika Okada, the Continental Champion, he just lost the Continental title to Jon Moxley in the Continental Classic.
Yes.
Does the Intercontinental Champion, the defending champion Dominik Mysterio, lose his IC title in the Intercontinental Classic? This is some very vital stuff going on here.
Even if Dominik Mysterio were to lose to Johnny Gargano, he hasn't lost the Intercontinental Championship unless he is eliminated in the semifinals or from semifinal consideration. Then he would lose the Intercontinental Championship. It's like the Okada thing. When Okada lost to, like, for example, he lost to Kevin Knight. He didn't lose the Continental Championship. He just lost.
I know the rules. I'm the one that came up with this, okay?
Alright.
I know
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, this is not a good sign.
Dog,
This is not a good sign. Remember, Gargano.
He knows what happened on the last night.
Yeah, last week. Last week.
Last,
Johnny Gargano lost via a count out. And now.
Dom's
Oh,
going for the same
I
play
don't
button.
know.
Dom is going
I
for
think
the
that's
same
way too
play
early.
button.
I think that's way too early for Dominik.
Oh, but Dom knew. He came back out.
Dominic Mysterio.
Oh,
wait a minute!
Super kick!
Super kick! But he's got to get back in the ring! He's got to get back!
That's the signature!
Yeah, but... Oh, Gargano!
Oh, Dom's stunned!
Yeah, Dominik Mysterio is stunned, but because Dominik Mysterio came back out...
This gives Johnny a chance to breathe. This gives him a chance to actually get more into this match. Get back into the groove.
Wait a minute! Oh my god!
What did I say?
Gargano
What did I
escaped!
say?
Gargano escaped!
Gargano
If he
escaped.
taps out Dominik, it could change the complexion! Oh my god! Oh my god! No!
He lets it go!
He let it go!
He goes for this moonsault!
Moonsault! Moonsault, but he's got to pin him! He's got to pin him! He got the pin! Oh my god! Is there a chance? No!
Chance in hell! And Johnny Gargano is the first man to beat the Intercontinental Champion.
Oh my
in the
goodness!
Intercontinental Classic.
Oh my
And
God!
Johnny can beat Keith Lee, the Limitless One, tomorrow night. Johnny is in contention to be the semi-finalist.
That's insane!
Now I want to point something out.
but-
I want to point something out. Even if he beats Keith Lee, if Dragon Lee doesn't win his match against Melo tomorrow, Johnny is the definitive semi-finalist.
However, that depends if Braun Breaker and Dominik Mysterio ends in a draw. He would need to make sure Braun Breaker and Dominik Mysterio's match ends in a draw, because if not, Johnny Gargano is out, but he's still alive. Holy hell, what a crazy turn of events!